Just because you're on a budget doesn't mean that you never get to splurge on anything. In fact, there are 3 key ways that you can actually build splurging into your budget so that it doesn't break your monthly money situation when you want to buy something that's a little bit more expensive just because you want it. Hi, I'm Des and I run Half Banked. It's a personal finance website that's kind of my reaction to I don't want to be lectured about money, but I still want to be good with money. It's all about using your money to live a life you love. Today we're going to be talking specifically about splurges. So this is something that's a little bit of a bigger purchase, but not so big that it counts as a short-term savings goal. So it's not a $3,000 vacation, but it might be a pair of $150 shoes or a splurge at the Sephora VIB sale. These are the kind of things that most people think that they can't have if they're on a budget. So budgeting to most people means cutting this stuff out completely. And that's not at all true. You can very much have your budget and have your splurges, and I know because I've done it. I'm living that life right now. There are 3 key ways that I make this work with my money situation, and I'm going to go over all 3 step by step in this video. Number 1 is to set a fun budget for yourself. And that sounds totally counterintuitive, like fun and budget. If you look at your monthly income, set aside a percentage of it, whether that's 1%, 10%, 20%, that you give yourself to just spend on fun stuff. Figuring out how much you can spend on fun involves looking at what else you have to spend money on and seeing what's left over after that. And yes, I'm very much including savings in that what you have to spend money on. So you're not allowed to cut out retirement savings to fund your fun budget. That said, no matter how tight your budget is, I think it's really important that you do set aside, even if it's $20, $40, $60 to spend on yourself every month. It's an important release valve that will help you do some fun stuff while still sticking to things like paying rent, paying for groceries, and saving a little bit of an emergency fund. Once you've got that number set aside, that's your fun budget. And if one month you want to splurge the entire $60 at Sephora, fantastic. You have officially budgeted for that fun spending and you're covered. The second way, and one that's really new to me, is using an app to help you build up a little bit of fun savings. So let's say you wanted to splurge on a necklace, like I did with this guy. To do that, I use an app called Coho. It's fairly new to me. I've been using it for about 2 months now, but what it does is it skims little bits of money based on the goals that I want to achieve off of my regular fun budget. So once a month, I add my fun budget to my Coho card. It's a prepaid Visa, and I just use that for my fun spending. If I want to go out for drinks with friends, or if I want to shop at Sephora, that's the card I pull out of my wallet. I set up a savings goal to buy this gold necklace that I wanted, and Coho asked me, how long do I have to save this money? And calculated, okay, if I need X amount of money and I have 90 days to save it, this is how much is going to come off of your fun budget every day and get put into the savings account. It's such a small number that I didn't really notice it coming off every day. And then all of a sudden at the end of it, I've got that money and I can spend it guilt-free on the necklace that I wanted. Once the goal was about halfway funded in Coho, I figured I don't want to wait that much longer, so I redeemed that savings and covered the other half of the necklace out of my regular monthly fun budget. So I saved a little bit for the necklace and I covered a bit of it out of my fun budget, and that's how I was able to afford this splurge that I'm obsessed with. The third way is really great if your splurge falls in between, $3,000 vacation and $10 happy hour with friends. If it falls right in the middle, it's a couple $100s, you might need to set up a different savings account for it. And here's how I've actually done that. I know that this summer is going to be a little bit spendy for me. I'm getting married. There's a lot of different things that I know that I want to splurge on specifically in the next 4 months. So what I did is I actually set up a direct transfer into a new savings account called Summer Other. So creative, I know. This is for things like getting pedicures and manicures with my mom before the wedding and covering the whole thing at a fancy spa. They're a little bit pricey, so I won't be able to cover them out of my fun budget, but I want to have the money available to do those things this summer, and they're definitely splurges. So if you are looking at either a spendier season or a couple big events that you have coming up that aren't going to be suited to either just your fun budget or the small amount of savings that you can build up using an app-based approach, set up an automatic savings contribution to a separate account from your main checkings account and just let the money pile up bit by bit, however much you want to set it up, and you'll have the money there when you want to splurge. So those are the 3 key tactics that I personally am using over the next 4 or 5 months to make sure that all my splurges are budgeted for and covered, and I get to enjoy them guilt-free. That's the biggest benefit, honestly, of doing this, is that it's so easy when you're thinking about budgeting or you're thinking about good with money to feel guilt if you want to spend anything on yourself, and you shouldn't. Part of planning your monthly money situation is making sure that you give yourself the freedom to actually enjoy your life in a structured way so you're not building up credit card debt when you do it. If you have any questions about how I use any of these techniques, the technologies I use, anything like that, drop a comment below. I would love to hear from you and help out. And while you're down there, obviously I would love it if you hit the thumbs up if you like this video and subscribe if you're not already.